Okay, guys, so welcome to today's next level session. We do these Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 4 p.m. East. We might have some scheduling changes coming up over the next few weeks, but we'll keep these up. They just might happen to, we do this every few months. We change up the day and time, and we might have to do that going into October. Just a reminder, our replays are at insiderealestate.com/webinars. I think I'm missing one session from Heather last Thursday that I'll get it in this list. It's definitely in the next level mastermind. Guys, check out this 0 to 30 and beyond with Josh. If you didn't see it last week, I think there's just a ton of really good stuff in there that Josh is doing. And, we got positive feedback on that. But it's just nice to see what other members are doing. So I'm hoping to get more of you guys on these sessions and interviewed shortly. And if you have something unique that you'd like to talk about, please do reach out. Just rhartman at insiderealestate.com or chat us up in the group. And just mention that because, we very much would like to talk to you and are looking forward to getting more guests on these sessions. So as usual, if you have any questions, just chat them in the box and I'll just get started. I have a few little things today, nothing big. It might be a quick one. But the first thing I wanted to share was a tweak that I made last week to the auto text that goes out on our waterfront campaign. And the reason this is interesting is that it's something that'll help everybody, I'm pretty sure. And you can see here a bunch of our auto text coming in. I always like to look at that when I come in the dashboard. And the tweak that I made has to do with the recently added stop language that we were kind of forced to do by the cell provider. So it wasn't really any way around it. And they said, hey, you guys need to put some stop language inside of that first text message that goes out so that people can unsubscribe. So what we did in order to kind of protect our account and protect all user accounts, this is stuff we have to do when you have as many users as we do, is we put the stop language in globally into every first text message that goes out. But there is kind of a little bit of a workaround that allows you to stop the stop language from happening. So you guys have probably noticed this, chat, and if you've seen this yourself, usually there's a line at the end and it says something like to unsubscribe, reply with the word stop. I want to see if I can get documentation on this to share with everybody. Sorry, I want to share the article with you because it's instructive and it'll give you more context on what we're talking about here. There it is. It's the kvCORE TCPA compliance and opt-out messaging. We added this about a couple of months ago. And there is a little bit of a caveat here that says if you prefer to use your own message instead of ours, you can include one of the following stop words in your initial text message. You can see there's 6 words there: stop, unsubscribe, stop all, cancel, end, and quit. And I'll be honest, we were getting more unsubscribes than we like to get. And I saw a few other accounts, people I regularly talk to, and even one broker in Jacksonville, Florida said, hey, what can we do about this? We just got 5 unsubscribes in a row. And if you're inviting people to unsubscribe, it makes sense. So can you guys spot the little hack in my little text script here? And I'll tell you, this has changed it, but we've had the unsubscribes are way down in the 7 or 8 days since I did this. Can you spot the trick? I know you guys aren't on mics, and I'm sure you can see it, but basically I went and I said, hi, lead first name. But yeah, thanks for stop. I got the word stop in my text and then on the website a few hours ago. So this is working, and we got the word in, and we are kind of, it's a little gray hat. We're going around the intent of the TCPA compliance rules, but I don't know. Let's do it until we can't get away with it anymore, right? And that's what I've done. So some other scenarios, going back to the article, I guess I could, there's probably clever ways for you to work all these in, right? So, if you're thinking, why not quit your job and buy investment properties instead? You can have fun with these words, basically, is my point. So hopefully you guys find that useful. This has worked very well for me. The thanks for stopping by is probably something all of us can use on a first text response. And what's also interesting, somebody pointed out, well, it looks like a typo. Typos are good in these initial messages. It feels a little bit more like you took out your phone and you typed it in, right? So this little space, if anybody even notices it, it just feels natural in a text message. Right? So I think it's a small thing, but I think there's a lot of money in this as in this little hack because as you guys know, I'm very biased toward the Facebook lead ads. I think that any lead source that gets us a real cell number is really valuable. And once you're doing that, having these conversational autoresponders that go out right away. You saw Josh doing that last week in some of his examples. This is where you can skim a certain percentage of those leads and turn them into conversations really quick. So that first text message, try to get a stop word in there so that you would avoid the explicit unsubscribe. All right, so that was the one thing I had. The second thing I had will take a little longer to explain. Oh, good question. How do we remove the unsubscribe from the first text, or is that automatic from kvCORE? Yeah, okay, so I probably didn't explain that as well as I should have. So by default, kvCORE will add that unsubscribe language. It'll say, and I thought it was here in this article, but it says something like to unsubscribe. If you no longer want to receive text messages from us, or if you prefer not to be contacted by text, reply with unsubscribe. But if you put one of these words in the body of your text, it doesn't do that. That's the big takeaway, guys. So if you write your custom text message and you put one of those stop words in the text, then it won't do that very explicit then added unsubscribe that was causing, that kind of encourages people to unsubscribe. So that's that. So that's how you remove it. You add a stop word. I know I just repeated the same thing 10 times, but it is kind of confusing and a little nuanced. So I think it makes sense to say it a few times if we need to. All right. So that right there, guys, I think we're done for the day. You know, that's worth the cost of admission. I think it's a big, I'm proud of it because there is a lot of money in this initial conversations. Now, let's go ahead and move on. The other thing that I had was this idea of doing a lease purchase pay-per-click campaign on Facebook. And before you stop, you say, why on earth would I want to do lease purchase? It's because of, oh, guys, help me out. Why is it slipping my mind? What's that program where they buy the house for you and rent it back to you? I know one of you guys knows. It's very popular. I'm totally drawing a blank, but an agent, Home Partners of America. Thank you. That's the one. I've heard of Ribbon too, but I'm not sure what that is. Thank you, Gina Marie. Yeah, so Home Partners of America, there is an agent in our local market at the office on that who is having good success with them. And she was asking me about how to go about getting more of those leads. And to me, it's pretty simple. It's offer a list of lease purchase homes, right? Or offer some kind of document or ebook or webinar that explains the lease purchase process. But if most of us can go to our websites and we can go to more options here. We can do this from the squeeze link, but I'm just going to my kvCORE site. And most of us have this lease to own option. And usually it's not a ton. It may be less in this market environment, but usually I can find a nice handful. So apply filters. There we go. 9. So there are 9 properties in my county where there is something about rent to own in the system thinks it's a rent to own. That last one says it's not a rent to own, but that's okay. So what we can do is, one thing we do is our usual offer a property list. If we're happy with the list that's generated, and just say, hey, see a list of properties where lease to own or seller financing is an option. I'm not loving the amount of opportunities just looking at these closely. The second option would be to offer some kind of free report. So lease to own. Okay, so option 1, offer a property list. Lease to own properties. Now, if you run a Facebook ad, which I'm going to do in a minute, to show you guys the process. If I run this Facebook ad, it is going to get a lot of opt-ins. We know this, right? And you're going to have to sift through a lot of people who might not be qualified yet, or they are thinking about renting right now. But in terms of long-term database building, you can probably very efficiently throw an ad like this up and get people into your database and have an auto text that generates lots of conversations about real estate. It might be a lot of work sorting and filtering, but it will be very effective at getting people into your database. And then option 2, how to buy a lease option. How to find a rent with option to buy Dallas, even if you're not seeing them. So this is me just kind of writing a headline out, which I'll often do, you know, on a notepad like this. So this would be something, a landing page you can create, and then you can either record a quick video that explains the process, or you can do a document. Now on this webinar today, I'm not going to have time to do the whole Home Partners of America, you know, a whole document or a whole video about them, but it would be as simple as you getting on camera or showing a screencast video or doing a report that basically just talks about how Home Partners works. That would be the answer to this landing page when somebody opts in, right? So you know that it would generate lots of leads. You drive traffic to a landing page, they opt in for that, and then you say, hey, yeah, there aren't a lot of lease option properties on the market, but there's this program with this company called Home Partners of America that will allow you to do this. Let me tell you about that. And then you're just positioning, you talk about the terms of Home Partners, and if somebody fits those terms, you're inviting them to meet with you and talk to you about the program. Maybe you include a Calendly link or a Zoom link or something that they can hop on, you know, below that video. So those are the two angles. I'm going to today, let's start and we'll do option one. I'm just going to run a Facebook ad. We haven't really built out one of these systems live in a while on one of these sessions. So I'll take about 20 minutes to run out to kind of build out this funnel, if that's cool with you guys. Go ahead and chat in and let me know if this is something you could see yourself doing, or do you really not want to do this kind of business? Either way, just I think it's useful just to watch one of these systems get built from scratch, you know, just to kind of see the exercise, and you can change out the niche if you want to. So let's offer the lease to own properties. First step, we hop into kvCORE, we go and we build out our squeeze link that we're going to give away the link to the property. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to build a multi-property squeeze, pick my county. My listing type, well, I'll do single family, I'll do townhomes and condos. Okay. Next, we'll do options, and then I might pick lease to own, and then there's this, everybody's MLS is going to be a little different, but your seller financing might also pick that up, and you might kind of include seller financing and lump that in. I know they're not exactly the same thing, but you might lump that in order to generate more listings. So I'm going to set my property views to never, and I'm going to generate link. And the reason I'm doing this is because I need a place to send people after they opt in. Oh, that's great that you have a custom page already, Gina Marie. So if you already have a custom page about this, then all you really need to do is kind of build the front end that kind of gives away that page, right? You know, that teases that page. Is it a custom page on your kvCORE site? If you want to share it, we can do that. So, oh, wonderful. I just searched. What did I do wrong? You know what I did wrong? Maybe it's looking for properties that have both those options. I can't remember actually the last time I built a squeeze page that had two of those options. Hopefully now we'll get 9 that pop up. Okay. It's 4 because I excluded the commercial properties, which is fine. So it was 9 when I had commercial. So at least there's 4. I have my link here. I'll save it. And then I'm going to go build my Facebook ad. So Gina Marie, if you want to share your link, I'll take a look at it. And probably what I'm going to say when I see the link is that you probably need a video on top if I'm going to give it feedback. So let's hop into Facebook now. And guys, what I'm about to run through is the process for building a Facebook lead ad that we always talk about. We've got a few examples of this in the growth system section of the Next Level Mastermind. And what we're going to do today is just build it for this specific angle. So if you've seen this before, I don't mean to bore you, but I think a lot of people like to see this process repeated here and there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click create. Hopefully Chrome behaves itself. I'm going to choose the lead generation option. Now this is the option that gets us a name, email, and phone number. That's the exciting option that allows us to have cell numbers to auto text with our little stopping hack. So click continue there. We have to pick our special ad category. So first I'll name the campaign. And this is going very slow, guys. Sorry about this. It'll take 1 minute to attempt to remove anything that's bogging this down. Sure that popped. So we'll name our campaign Sorry, I'm just trying to choose here, and the browser is freezing on me. It's bad enough in a general environment when you're doing Zoom and Facebook, so we do get these pauses. But whatever happened a week ago with Chrome is really making this not fun. So bear with me here, but we'll get through it. So we'll call this lease option. Okay, daily budget, we do not want to be $100. We'll start a little bit less, make it 10. Click next. We're choosing the instant forms option, so that should be pre-checked, but they're calling them instant forms now. My ad set, I'm just going to call it Pinellas County, where I am. The Facebook page is attached here. The first time you do this, you might need to click View Terms and accept the terms. They'll give you a warning if you need to do that. We'll skip all these other options here. We're going to go down to where it says United States. We've got to put our location in. Looks like the browser decided to move along. That's good. And I'm just going to target people living in this location instead of people also traveling. So it's a little more targeted. The location drop down. We can't change the age. We can't change any of this other targeting. We can actually, I'll take that back. I was playing. There are some things you can do here with the interest targeting still. Seems slow to search, but you can play with this a little bit. I don't know that it really gets you very far. But if you do want to play with this, you know, there are things like home. I was looking the other day, like homes.com is an interest you can target if you want to. House hunting is an interest you can target. So there are some options still. I've found that just leaving it blank and running it and letting the algorithm figure things out seems to work okay, but you can play with the detailed targeting. Placements, I'll just leave this at automatic. We'll let Facebook find that. Sometimes you might decide, hey, I want to do get rid of the audience network on Facebook. I'll do that sometimes. It's like they're lower tier traffic. And maybe you say, hey, I only want to run on Instagram or I only want to run on Facebook and test that way. That's where you would do that in the placement section. So we'll just run it on Facebook and Instagram. You can see over to the right, it said there were about 600,000 people who might see this. Our Instagram account, we'll connect that. It's just that little drop down. Lease to own, rent to own. Get rid of the media here. And we need an image for this. So let me see if I can find an image. I'm not going to try to make the video that I usually make because of the browser speed issues. But let's just see if we can find an interesting rent-to-own image in Google Images. Like this one right here, or this one, that'll be fine. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of steal that. Waiting for the question about using. It's best practice to use Creative Commons images that you have a license for. But I'll be honest, it's on Facebook's platform, kind of like not my website. So I'm not out there intentionally trying to steal a bunch of images. But you can see there's a lot of these here. There's nothing super creative or, you know, about it. So I feel okay. And I've never had that come back on me doing that on a Facebook ad. But the proper thing to do would be to find an image that you either create yourself or, you know, is in somebody else's. But for the purposes of the demos, let's just use what we found there. I'm going to click upload. Just drag this in, can I? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Sorry, guys. Oh boy. You see it sitting right down there in my Chrome browser, and I can't find where it went. Where'd you go? I think it might be time to clean up a little, huh? There it is. There we go. All right. So we'll upload our image for the ad. Check it. Click done. Cool. And then our ad copy is CA. I'm just going to go ahead and call it a short list of currently available lease to own, lease purchase / rent to own properties available in Pinellas. And also receive details about first time homeowner / rent to own programs. I'm just adding this extra part just to kind of like set the stage for the home partners information if we wanted to do that. So simple ad, right? Our headline will be lease purchase in Pinellas County. And our call to action will do learn more. And then we're going to need to build a lead form. And this is a little bit of an involved process, but it is a process that will get you in text communication with a lot of people fast. So I would argue it's worth learning how to do. So I'm going to click continue here. Lease to own. I go to the intro section here. I scroll down. I usually just get rid of this greeting. It's just a personal preference. I feel like more stuff kind of just confuses the process. It gives people more things to read. So I just get rid of that greeting section and I skip right to the section right here with questions. For my description, I do Pinellas lease to own, lease purchase properties. And then I'll do, I separate out the first name, contact fields, first name, add category, use last name, add category, contact fields, phone number. And I did that a little fast. If you're watching this on replay or when you watch it on replay, you can just slow that down. But basically, you find each of these 4 fields, first, last, email, phone. And what happens is in Facebook, it kind of gets opened up on the screen, and people usually just click next to get to the next step because they're interested in what you have. The privacy URL, that's always findable down at the bottom of your kvCORE website. Right down here, you can see me hovering, and there's a line underneath. We'll just copy that link, and we need to put the link right here. So that's your privacy URL. Just for the brokerage, so let's pull my subdomain out of it. And then completion, this is where we're going to put the link to our site with all the listings that we created in the beginning, the squeeze link. So great, click to see the lease purchase list now. We're also emailing you additional info. Call to action is view website. Click to see the lease purchase listings. And then our link is the squeeze link to the property. So I believe I put this up here. That was the first one. Here's the one with 4. I'll copy this over. Taking it off the subdomain just so multiple people, in case we route these to multiple people. So I'm just using the main URL, even though I built it in an agent account. So basically this link will take people to the list. And remember, I turned off the need to register because they're already giving you your information in Facebook. And what we're going to do in a minute is we're going to build the Zap that pushes the information into kvCORE. Again, a little advanced and involved process, but really worth knowing. The thing that you see me doing here, this all gets built automatically when you do a property boost ad through the kvCORE marketplace, or if you do one of our Facebook buyer lead options. One of the advantages of those products is that you don't have to do all this stuff. It just kind of gets run automated. So I'm going to click publish. My ad is live. If I click publish, Facebook will approve the ad in a few hours, and then it'll go live, which gives me time to do the other things that I need to do. So the next step I'm going to take is I'm going to set up that bridge from Zapier. Okay, so everybody good? Following along okay? I know I move at a good pace, but there's a little bit to this and want to get it done in a amount of time. So I'm just looking at the comments. Yeah, okay. So let's hop into Zapier now. I'm actually gonna just get into the right Zapier account. I was in another one. Just give me 1 second, another window. Does anybody have any questions while I do that? You guys are a little quiet. Or have we done this process enough times that everybody's a master of it now on these sessions? And I'm going to keep doing this until it doesn't work. That's kind of my take on it. You know, these ad platforms do have the ability to take away these things that work, and we need to be nimble enough to change. But for as long as something's actually working well, and with this method, it's worked well for 6, 7, 8 years probably now. We're just not going to stop till it stops working. So I'm just logging into Zapier in my other browser. Had to go find a long password for this account. All right, there we go. And what we'll do is we'll click Create Zap. And our triggers app is Facebook lead ads. Our trigger event is new lead. Our Facebook lead ads account. Now, the first time you do this, you might need to connect. As long as you're logged into Facebook, it's really quick. You just click connect, and it knows you're logged into Facebook, and it'll just grab the account for you. So it knows to look in your Facebook account. Now it'll ask me for a page. This has been a challenge in the past, so I hope the page comes up. Always forget that this is like this. So if you manage a lot of pages like me, you're gonna have to scroll through a lot. You shouldn't have this issue. I'm just gonna look through all these wacky pages I've created or managed over the years until I find it. There it is. This is usually why I just duplicate an existing Zap, which is something you can do as well. Now I've picked the page and asked me for the form, and you can see the last form I created will be up top. So I have my lease to own form there. Click continue. Click test, and what it'll do is it'll send over some test data. There shouldn't be any leads yet, but it'll at least send over some data that I can map to the next field. So we have that there. Continue. And then our second action is to link us up to kvCORE. So I'm going to click kvCORE. Create contact. It wants me to sign into kvCORE. Let me make sure I am signed in here in a browser window. It's always good to be logged in before you do this. And I'm going in through our super admin. Oh boy. Now I'm starting to think, yes, Chrome has been slow, but I am starting to wonder if some of this is kvCORE related too, because this was going good until we hit this particular page. Okay, it loaded up for me. Now you would log into the main login page, so you wouldn't have the difficulty I just had. So we're logged into kvCORE. I'm going to click sign in, like so. It's going to ask me for the API key. So where I go for that is I go into my lead engine. all lead engine tools. And then I'll go to lead Dropbox up here at the top right. And then I'm going to grab the API key. I'm going to use the company key in this case. But you would just use your agent key if you're solo. Any of these keys should work fine. So grab that. Where'd my little window go? There it is. And now that'll connect kvCORE up to Zapier. So if you're sitting there thinking, yes, this is involved, it's not as bad. The first time you do it, it's the hardest. The second, third, fifth, 20th time you do it, it's really not bad. It's just kind of following the wizard and knocking out the steps as you encounter them. Choose account. And then the other thing, as I mentioned before, is you can just duplicate that existing Zap and change a few things after you've done it one time. So our first name, we're just going to kind of click in the box here, and we're going to find the first name. We'll call this a buyer lead for type. Last name, right here. We'll click on last name, click that option. So what we're doing now is we're just mapping data over. This is the data that came from Facebook, from our test lead. And we're just telling it to put it into kvCORE with this data. Where's my cell number? There it is. Okay. New lead status. Source, we'll do Facebook ad. For notes, we could do lease purchase ad. You can put anything you want here. Lease purchase ad. And then for hashtag, I'll call this lease purchase. That's important because our hashtags will drive a lot of the automation. So continue. Test and continue. And now what we've done is we've linked up that lead form in Facebook to kvCORE. So again, definitely an involved process. I think it's worth learning if you're driving your own traffic. If you're not, it's just good to be aware that this exists. If you're going to hire third parties or if you want to use any of our marketplace options, I think it's just good to understand that under the hood, this is how a lot of these Facebook ads run. So please purchase. I'm naming the Zap up at the top right now. Kind of skip that step. It's easy to skip with the way Zapier's thing is, and that's just so I can find it later. Okay, so we have an ad set up in Facebook. We have it tied to kvCORE, so when leads come in, they end up in our kvCORE system. I'm not sure if the test lead comes over. Let's just check real quick. It may or may not, because of the data might be not formed right. Yeah, I'm not sure that they actually send that test lead in. But you should see, when you get your first lead at Facebook, it'll show leads in the Facebook dashboard, and then you want to make sure that you can see the lead in the system. I just want to see if it did manage it, and I'm not seeing it here. Yeah, actually it did come over. The reason it didn't show up top is because it came over with the same contact info that other tests have had. And you can see I have this one kind of test lead, dummy lead here with a bunch of different hashtags for all the different ads I've run. So that's why I didn't see it up top, but it did actually push it in. You can see it came in with lease purchase today. Hashtag added lease purchase about 2 minutes ago. So that's working well. Okay. So now we've got our traffic source set up. We've got our capture point set up. That's our Facebook lead form. Tens of thousands of people in my local market will see that offer. Some of them will opt in, and the information will get sent to kvCORE. And the next thing I want to do is I want to have an auto text go out to those people so that I can start to talk to them, and some other things. And you can see here we have our Waterfront Homes conversation starter campaign. We kind of want to build something similar to this for this lease purchase angle. So one kind of hack or kind of thing that'll make this easier is I'll go into my existing conversation starter campaign. Just so you guys know, there is a base conversation starter campaign in the kvCORE library. I'm pretty sure that, see this one right here, that has some of the stuff that is pre-written. And you can click add to my library and pull it in if you want. So I'm just going to copy my waterfront because I've made some customizations to that I want to pull in. So we'll hit clone. We have some rules here. We're going to do value for my hashtag. Instead of being waterfront, we're going to do lease purchase. There we go. Next. next. See, I'm just kind of changing out the base there, finish. And then I didn't change the name. Ah, that was a little bit of a mistake. So over here on the right with the campaign settings, probably skip that part. I do want to make sure I do that or I'm going to drive myself nuts, right, in the future. Oh, where do I change the name? Oh, boy. What did I do wrong? I'm sure I'm just forgetting where to change the name when I copied it over. Okay, we'll just leave it at this. It's my waterfront copy, but all the rules are correct. What I need to change out then is some of the initial texts that happen at minutes 2 and 3 because they're specific to the waterfront campaign, my initial text and my initial email. So I'll get rid of those. Get rid of that. Okay, and I'm going to go now and I'm going to write an initial text and an initial email in my templates, and then I'm going to add it to this campaign. I don't know why I'm not remembering how to change, or what might have changed is not allowing me to change this name of this campaign. I see what it is. All right, guys, by default, it was scrolled down here, and I had to scroll up. Oh, boy. All right. I make fun of my dad for not being very computer illiterate, but sometimes. There we go. Sometimes, right? Okay. Okay, thanks for watching me struggle. All right, so now we've got the campaign here, and I just kind of need those initial texts. The rest of this campaign is kind of vanilla. It kind of like on day 4, it asks if they own a house. On day 2, it tells me to attempt a phone call. It does some check-ins that I don't believe are specific to the lease purchase campaign, so I can kind of reuse it. That's what's handy about it. Okay, so let's go ahead now to our templates. We'll go back to my campaigns. Go to templates. I want to add a new one. Then we're going to do a text template. My scope here, I put company so everybody can use it. And we'll call this lease purchase initial. So I'll do hi. First name, this is the bracket over on the left side. So it'll bring up this little merge tag thing if you want. Hi, first name. And we can use our hack again, right? Or we had some other terms that we could use like cancel, something like that. I'll just use the stopping by hack. Thanks for stopping by our site and looking at the lease purchase properties. Just curious, are you currently renting in Pinellas, or thinking, or just thinking about something like that? And this initial text, guys, if you're not getting a lot of responses, this is where you want to spend time first playing with this particular response if you don't feel like enough people are talking to you. If you're not getting, say, 1 in 5 or 1 in 4 people to reply to this on some level, then you probably want to reword it a little bit. And then I'll just do a dash, and then I'll do agent first name. I could add the company name if I want stuff in there too. So I'll hit add template. And then for an email, same process. So please purchase initial email. And for this particular angle, please purchase homes program. Okay, so they're going to get an email that says this, and we're going to do kind of the same thing. Hi, I'll hit the sun this time. Do lead first name. Thanks for accessing the lease purchase list just now. I realize there probably weren't a lot of properties on the list, but we actually have a program we work with that will open you up to many more lease purchase options in Pinellas. Would you like for me to send over more info on that program? So you could do something like that, right? And then just do your first name. Yeah, and your signature. So I could do include signature down at the bottom, then dash, and then we just do agent first name. The reason I'm doing these merge tags is so that if other people on our team or at the office want to use these same emails, it just merges them in. But you see what we're doing here? It's kind of like they were interested. They go to the list. There's only like 4 properties on there. They're like, yeah, whatever. But then they get this email, and it's like, oh, yeah, there were only a few, but really we have this program, and we're playing psychologically on curiosity. You know, oh, what program? Right? We're not giving them the name because they could just go Google Home Partners. We're not going to say, we don't want to just reply and give them all the information about Home Partners. We want to try to get them to respond and say, yeah, they want more info. Now, if you don't get a response to this, you could easily have an email that goes out the next day and says, hey, lease purchase program is the subject, and then you can start to tell them about Home Partners, but you want to get into the conversation on the first day, right? So we try to make it a little bit big, just to kind of get the conversation going and give them a reason to reply back to you. So I've created these 2 emails, and I just got to make sure they land in that campaign. Okay, so I'm going back to the campaigns. I'll turn my status on. The campaign wasn't on. I always forget to do this, guys. Make sure you turn it on. There. And then remember, we don't have anything going out right away. So we're going to click Add Action Text. Text. We got to merge in that template. Please purchase initial text. I just searched. There's what we just wrote. Looks good. We'll run that immediately, or we can run it in like 2 minutes so it feels more natural. And then we'll just add our email in. Same way. Email. And maybe we delay that like a couple of minutes. Right? So the text goes in 2 minutes. Maybe we'll do this 5 minutes later. And there we go. So now we've got the traffic source coming in. We get a real cell number. We get the email that Facebook has on file. And then these 2 contacts go out. Both of them are designed to get people to reply back to us and get us in a conversation about this idea. The other thing that I'll do, as we always like to do and recommend, is I'll go to all marketing, and I'll set up a search alert that sends everybody who comes in with the lease purchase hashtag and it'll just set them up to get all the lease purchases. So I got to scroll down here, lease to own, and then I got to put my location. And then we'll send that. I'll just let it go daily because a lot of days there won't be one. So, you know, because it's not going to have a lot. But every time a lease purchase hits the MLS and hits, they'll get an email. So that's very easy to do. That took me 15 seconds, right? And now there's some kind of property alert going out. They get my initial kind of text. And then beyond that, the way to kind of make sure these convert is pretty simple. You're just going to want to give information and tell stories about Home Partners or whatever your lease purchase program is. So if you want to, maybe on day 5, send a book recommendation about lease purchase. If you want to share videos from Home Partners, I'm sure they have a lot of content. If you want to interview one of your other customers who use the program, if you start sending that kind of stuff and showing social proof that this is working for other people, then you're going to have more and more people reach out to you. From what I've heard, I've never used Home Partners to do a transaction. That sounds amazing. You know, if you can get people who qualify for the program, you basically got a qualified buyer in hand, right? And I imagine that once you start working with them frequently, it's going to get easier to work with because they're going to know what you're like to work with, and you can do multiple deals through that process. But whether you're using Home Partners or not, understanding lease purchases seems like a common sense thing to me. The market won't always be like it is now, and there's going to be times when you need to be able to get a little more creative. So. But that's it, guys. What do you think? That's our kind of lease purchase funnel. On tomorrow's session, I'll kind of give you an update on how this went. I'm sure within the next 24 hours, we'll start to see some leads on this offer, and we'll be able to take a peek and see what the cost per lead is. and if any people are responding to the text. But that's it. I mean, these little niche kind of lead generation funnels, they don't take long to build once you get the hang of them. You need a traffic source, you need a conversion point. In this example, our traffic source and a conversion point were pretty much the same thing. It was the Facebook ad and the lead form. You need some automated follow-up, conversational autoresponder that tries to get people to engage. And then you just need some longer term follow-up. And we just used kvCORE to send auto alerts, and we'll use kvCORE to rip out mass information as time goes by. If we're working this niche, then we'll start to create content and mass send it to people. Yeah, okay, so Gina Marie sent me the link. So cool, this is your lease to own page. Does this have info on it, or are we looking at the wrong link maybe? Here, I see your lease purchase program link right here. Wonderful. Yeah, very cool. So you're giving all the info here. I would probably, oh, you've got a lot of info. That's great. So I would probably, it's going to serve you, Gina, if you put a video of yourself up top. That's just because you become the trusted person for this, and they get to know you online. So I would definitely run the ad, have them opt in to learn more about it, and then come here. And then your capture page might look like this. If you don't want to offer a list of properties, you could do lease purchase. What market are you in? I'll just build this right now. Atlanta. All right, Atlanta. It's right in your URL. Atlanta lease purchase home buyer. Get program details now. So something like this. We'll choose one of our other backgrounds just for fun. Is this one. Okay. And then our hashtag will be lease purchase. Our submit button will be lease purchase info. You can use on your submit button either the thing that it is or some kind of like get instant access. And in our URL, I gotta go back and find it again on your site. Here it is. So this is the URL. Home buyers, let's save. So something like that, you could easily run a Facebook ad. You don't have to do all the lead form stuff since you'd be collecting the info here. And you can run a click campaign with a similar ad copy and send it here. So there's your link, Gina Marie. Oops, no, I didn't. I dropped it to hosts and panelists. I'll privately drop this to you. Here we go. Should be coming right over. But yeah, that's how, the harder part, of course, you already did the hard part. That's creating the content about the program. So once you've got that going, I highly recommend the video if you can get it done. Then it's just a matter of putting some kind of landing pages opt-in in front of this. And I'm pretty confident that if you stuck to this and you were sending follow-up information, this is a niche that all of us could work if Home Partners operates in your market, definitely makes sense as a niche. And the other nice thing about this is, I know from experience, people will opt in for this all day. It's kind of you are going to get people who don't qualify yet, but if you're really in this business to kind of serve and help people become homeowners, this is a great niche, right? You get to really help people out. I'm sure you might have a lot of people in your database who just can't do anything right now. They might need credit repair, or they might not qualify for Home Partners, but it's a great way to put a lot of people in your database. Be nice to them, serve them, try to help them, and you're going to get referrals from them just for being one of the few agents in your marketplace willing to talk about lease purchase with them. They're going to refer you other people who are qualified. So no problem, Gina Marie. Thanks for sharing the example. And I hope this was useful for all you guys. I'll make sure I get the replay live as soon as possible. And then tomorrow we'll look in on the results. And tomorrow what I was thinking we would do I just kind of want to do kind of a brainstorm session where we just talk about all the different ways to get contacts into kvCORE to get leads. Not specific examples like this one, but just all the different channels that you might use to get leads flowing in, like the open house app, Facebook ads, Google ads, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. And we'll just have a brainstorm session that gives you 50 different ways. We could probably come up with 50 just to get leads flowing in. So I thought that might be a fun session. And we'll see you at 4 o'clock tomorrow, 4 o'clock East tomorrow on the same link to talk about that. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.